Mhm. Good morning, everybody. Just making sure that the live stream is working. So we had posted lockout tagout for today, but we did that last week. So this week's free training by by Jesse McClellan. I am the owner of ROI Safety Services, and welcome. We are providing free safety, kind of an introduction to various topics. This is focused primarily on managers and business owners, and and people who just want to understand the requirements from OSHA, and more important, protecting our employees and making sure that we're doing everything we can to make sure that we don't have any injuries or fatalities, because we still have 6,000 people a year dying on the job every single year. It's not getting any better, and we need to fix that. So how do we do that? Well, we do it one person at a time, one company at a time, one training at a time. So we need to share this information. It's not difficult, but it does take effort, and the effort is, uh, you know, get your head out of the sand and take responsibility for your business. That I'm going to repeat that. Get your head out of the sand and take responsibility for your business. This just doesn't happen. So we need to be responsible. We need to take action. We need to get educated on what's required and how to implement and take action. And that will create an environment where you have zero injuries. And that's our purpose, is to educate those businesses and individuals on how to do that. So this is free. This is, there's several other topics on our website and on our YouTube account. So please take advantage of this. And this is very casual. You can see, we don't have we do have a bit of an agenda for each class, but I really just want to kind of let it go and look at each slide and make sure that we cover all the requirements for each topic that we discuss. And we absolutely want feedback. I want to dig deeper into some of the issues that you guys might be having at your location. I am based in California, so I deal with California's requirements. Everybody says, "Oh, California, the OSHA requirements are so bad." They're not that bad. They're not much different than the federal standard. They're and to be honest with you, the OSHA has standards, right? And they were written in 1970, and they're very few are revised. I shouldn't say that. They over the last 50 years they have been revised, but it's nothing that they're very manageable to implement. And we will talk about the minimum, but the truth is the minimum is very simple to implement in the workplace. We want to go above and beyond that. We want to make sure that our people are trained, that they're educated, and they be responsible. Those are the things that we focus on at ROI, and we want to communicate that to you. So let's get started. So we're going to talk about powered industrial trucks, okay? Forklifts. That's what everybody calls them, forklifts. And so this is one area of our business that we do a lot of training. Now, why? I guess because it's a forklift and people relate it to a car and you need training. And I get all that, but why doesn't HASCOM or confined space or fall protection, or these other areas that are just as just as dangerous, if not more, get the same kind of attention. And I think it's just because it's, you're driving it, it's a big part of everybody's business. And, the requirements are still there, I mean, you still need to do HAZCOM, you still need to do confined space and lockout. Lockout tagout's a huge one that people neglect. A huge one. Every time I do a gap analysis, very rarely do I come across a company that has a really good lockout tagout program. Very rarely do I see a good lockout tagout program. And if I were to pick one program, probably the most important program out of all the ones that we see through, at various companies, lockout tagout is up there. It's got to be the top three, because people are dying with, if you don't have a proper lockout tagout, people die. Forklifts, yeah, it's very dangerous, but the confidence I have with most forklift operators is most people know how to drive a car, and they're not equally related. There is obviously some issues with forklifts versus a car, which I think we may touch on that. But forklift training is very important, but so is lockout tagout, so is HAZCOM, chemical safety training, confined space. So they're all very important. But forklift training just seems to be one of the ones that we get trained. We actually do more than any other of our trainings. So only trained and competent operators shall be permitted to operate a powered industrial truck. And a powered industrial truck is a forklift, right? A forklift, stand up, sit down. There's so many different types of forklifts or powered industrial trucks out there. There's custom ones. I go into aerospace companies all the time, and they have these amazing custom powered industrial trucks. This does not cover golf carts or front loaders or anything in construction. It does cover some overhead handlers, but generally speaking, it's going to cover warehouse, powered industrial trucks, which would be the forklift, whether it be stand up or sit down, or riders. We get so many different names of these pits across the country that it's hard to keep up. But generally speaking, it's a sit down or a stand up forklift, powered industrial truck. Everybody must have training. Everybody. This is one area that if you overlook and you don't have training and you get into an accident and somebody gets hurt, this is a significant citation from OSHA. And OSHA aside, you got Larry H. Parker, you got Sweet James, and whatever attorney you have in your city that will be more than happy to assist you in suing your business and getting more money out of you. OSHA, yeah, they'll be annoying. They may do an inspection and give you, a $7,000 fine or maybe more. Larry H. Parker, Sweet James, and all those other attorneys that you guys may have in your specific city would be more than happy to take all of your money. And believe me, they will try. So how do we protect ourselves? How do we protect ourselves? And how do we protect our employees? Well, we have to train. We have to do training. And the trainer must be competent and qualified. Now, what does that mean? Well, the trainer should be able to operate the powered industrial truck. They should have experience in formal and non-formal, it shouldn't be just somebody who, learned the forklift a couple of days ago and now they're out training everybody. We want experienced, competent, and qualified trainers. And that is the requirement. Okay. Now, some of the training requirements. You need to cover the general principles of safe truck operation. How do you use it in your workplace? What are the kind of loads you're moving? The type of powered industrial truck you're using, and what type of freight, what are the hazards? These are all the things that need to be assessed. So let's say we're working in a warehouse that's moving just tile, heavy boxes of tile, a really simple thing to do. Well, you need to train the employee who's operating the pit, unloading and loading procedures, weight limits. What's the weight limit on the powered industrial truck? Show them where the nameplate is, and then show them the limitations of that powered industrial truck. And guys, you cannot get that from a video. You got to do it in house. It needs to be site specific. Oftentimes, and I bet you more than half the companies across the country, the ones that actually do try to have training, they just put on a video that they get from wherever, and that is okay. Some of the videos are very good, but it's not gonna train the individual on site specific requirements. Okay, it's going to train them on OSHA requirements, which is fairly simple to do, but what are the site specific requirements? And that's what needs to be stressed and implemented in every single workplace. So the general safety requirements by OSHA are going to be covered in the video, of course. Trained operators must know how to handle the job properly and do it safely as demonstrated by a workplace evaluation. So you need to do the training, cover the OSHA standards. I do recommend watching the videos. I think it's a good idea, but you also need to have site-specific training, and you need to demonstrate that in the working environment. So what does that mean? Setting up an obstacle course? Sure, sure. I don't think that's the best way to do it, but I would definitely want to see them operate the powered industrial truck in the environment in which they are working in. So if they're moving heavy pallets of tile, I want to see them move heavy pallets of tile, not go in and out of cones. Cones are okay, it's a good idea to use if you want to do that. If you have a lot of people to train, if you have over 20 people to train, setting up an obstacle course is a good idea because you got to get through those people. But if you're going to be doing, a smaller group, which is what we always recommend, we our groups are typically between 5 to 10 students, and that's the sweet spot, because we can spend time with them. We can go over the site specific requirements, and then we can really go over how to operate and demonstrate how to use a powered industrial truck in your specific environment. If you hire a third party to come in and do some training and all they're doing is playing a video, you need to take another look at what they're doing. ROI goes in there. We do site specific training. We evaluate your working conditions, and then we go out and do hands-on in your specific environment. That is the distinction. You got to do site specific training. Okay, you just can't throw on a video or watch another video and burn through a bunch of PowerPoints and you're good to go. It doesn't work that way. We want to evaluate you. We want to see if you're competent. Can you operate safely? So employers must also certify that each operator has received the training and evaluate each operator at least once every 3 years. So you got to do it every 3 years. The truth is, 3 years, I think, is too long. When I was working in the corporate world, and I had, several hundred people that I had to train, we did refresher training every year on pits. It's such a high risk, that we wanted to do some kind of refresher training every year at least, and then we did the 3 year full blown evaluation. I recommend that. Again, OSHA is the benchmark. I would like to see everybody go above the benchmark. Okay, annual training. But if you have an accident or a near miss or new equipment, then of course you need to have retraining. But very rarely do people consider that throughout the year. So it is a good idea just to do it every single year. So prior to operating the truck in the workplace, the employer must evaluate the operator's performance. So there is a competency test, evaluation, whatever you want to call it, which to me as a trainer is the most important part of the entire process of training. ROI goes through a very, very clear, concise, specific process when we do training. We do a PowerPoint presentation, which we do our very best to make it site specific. So we get there, we evaluate the working environment, we talk about what's happening, we ask a ton of questions to the operators, and we make the training site specific. And we usually play a video. which goes over all the fundamentals of the training. And then sometimes we give a quiz, not all the time. And then the final phase of our training is we do the site specific evaluation. We demonstrate how to operate the pit at the location. We get the student to show us how how they do it or how we demonstrated it. So they need to do what we did, and then we coach them. We evaluate them, give them some pointers here and there, and then we do a final evaluation. And then once we are done, that student is free to go out and operate for the next 3 years or however your site specific requirements are. And of course, if they have an accident or a near miss, then they need to have refresher training. That's the ideal scenario in each workplace. Now, it doesn't matter if you just have one forklift and one employee. Well, there is some situations that if you're the owner of the business and you're the one employee, of course, there's not much requirement for you. But the truth is, if you have a couple employees and you have a forklift, you can go anywhere in any town and you're going to find machine shops, you're going to find distribution centers, um, you name it. Every town has a small business that has a forklift with one or two or five employees. And I would say the majority of them don't have any training at all. And the call that I usually get is an OSHA inspection or an injury occurred, and then they want training now. That's the most common call that we get is it's a reactive training request. It's reactive. We don't want to be in that position. We want to be in a proactive situation. So getting ahead of the game, train your folks, evaluate them, ensure that they understand the training curriculum. You test them, you make it site specific, and then you're doing your due diligence. You're doing everything you can to make sure that your employee is competent and qualified. And I invite each of you, take advantage of our Train the Trainer course. Take advantage of us going on site and doing the training. We will provide site specific training for you. So the training must be done at least every 3 years, or if you have an accident or a near miss, if you have an unsafe operator or something, some crazy thing going on, you should at least do retraining. But again, annual is the best way. And if you have a new powered industrial truck introduced into the working environment, or you have something change in the working environment, which is pretty common if you if you add another warehouse or you add a new process, you need to include that in your training. And then employers must certify each operator that they're competent and qualified. So you got to have a certificate, which we provide with the name and date, evaluation date, and the name of the person providing this training. And then developing your own training program is something that is required. Each location should have a program. It should be documented. Who's responsible for the program? Who's going to do the training? Who's your qualified operators? And then how often you're going to be doing it. And it's a basic program. They're very simple to put together. We see a lot of programs put together again, but we never see them fully implemented. The thing that causes most programs to just go away is turnover, or you just forget about it. We got other things to do. And so this is an overview of a powered industrial truck training program. And again, is this any more dangerous than other programs like lockout, tagout, HAZCOM, emergency evacuation? Not really. It has some hazards, it has some risk, but so does lockout, tagout, so do the others. But this one seems to get a lot of attention. But please look at your entire compliance program. Each company should do a very thorough evaluation. I was in a printing shop the other day, and you think a printing shop, they got a couple printing machines, it's pretty safe, pretty easy to manage. Boy, I was completely shocked at how big it was, first of all, and then how many people were there, and really the training needs that they had. I was definitely surprised. So it doesn't matter what industry you're in, you know, you still need to evaluate whatever kind of service you're doing, whether it be printing, machine shop, auto body shops, or I don't think we have any auto body shops. And I've gone to a few of them, just because I had to get stuff done. And I've seen 30, 40 employees there, and they have no training, no HAZCOM training, which is, guys, HAZCOM training in an auto body shop you think would be on the top of their list, but nothing. So training is definitely, there's a big need for training in every industry. So I appreciate each of you who are able to watch this. Hopefully, you can share this video with others. And again, this is my intention is not to train you on this. It's to really give you a good understanding as a manager, a business owner. This is what I need to get done. This is how to do it. And you can do it. You can do a lot of this yourself. There are some resources that OSHA will give you. But we do recommend, if you do need some help, call me. I'm more than happy to help each individual. My direct number is available on our website, and it's 714-520-1608. That's my cell number. Call me, text me. I'm here to help you guys. I am in Southern California. I do cover every state in the U.S. So if there's any needs that you have, call me. We do go out to your site wherever you're at. Just give us a call. We're here to help. And definitely subscribe to us on YouTube and give me some feedback. I want to hear what kind of other trainings you would like to see. Again, I am going to interview an OSHA inspector / consultant. She still works for OSHA. She is in the consultation group, but she has been an inspector and done other jobs at OSHA. So we're excited about that. Hopefully we can get an interview scheduled in May, maybe in April, and then I'd love to get that out to you guys just to kind of see how OSHA operates and the resources they have and how they work. All right, you guys have a wonderfully blessed day, and see you next time.